Guys, check this out right here. What did I say from my last video? I am one of the first people to really be talking about Twilight Masquerade. Twilight Masquerade for me was definitely one of those sets that you just have to get, especially now with the market going crazy. And I don't know if you guys saw, but there's this new ad for the megas. So Pokemon basically said, screw Scarlet and Violet, we're just gonna go straight to the megas. Obviously, that's not exactly what it means. There's gonna be a huge print cycle for these sets. But for the majority of the sets, they aren't gonna be printing them because they kind of just said, hey, you know what? We're just gonna focus on the new things so we can get things going. Because as a business, you just gotta move on. Because the only ones that are really sad about this are the collectors, and the collectors don't really give Pokemon money. I mean, the majority of their money comes from people who play the TCG. So, what brings the most revenue for the Pokemon cards? The TCG players, the ones who go to conventions, the ones who participate in the games, know the rules of the games, and that's why I believe you should be investing, if you're gonna invest in Pokemon, is gonna be a lot of the older sets. You can invest in Paldea Evolved, but I believe Paldea Evolved isn't gonna do the best. I think if you really want to get something that will increase in value, get the Magikarp in a PSA 9. I mean, if the PSA 10 is $3,000, PSA 9 is not going to be $200 anytime soon. I might as well buy a PSA 9 or buy a PSA 10 of Japanese. So, something there is not right. Because I believe Paldea Evolved isn't bad, but it's not great. I think it might be the most $500 in a year. The most 500. Kind of what Chilling Reign did. Because I believe Chilling Reign and Paldea Evolved are kind of very similar. Chilling Reign has a lot of newer Pokemon, like from the Galar region. Ice Calyrex, Shadow Calyrex. So it's not the most hyped Pokemon in those sets. So the set's not going to do well. If you notice, the most expensive cards from those sets are the Blaziken, the Snorlax, and the Galarian Moltres. Now the Galarian Moltres isn't new, but it is a different version of the older Pokemon Moltres with a cool design. Paldea Evolved, you don't really have any Pokemon that are SIRs or IRs that are super expensive or show that kind of appeal, except for the Magikarp. The Moltres, I believe, was super expensive because of the design. It looks super cool. You know, I want to own that card one day. But the design is super cool, like the Magikarp. Blaziken is just expensive because it's Blaziken. So that's why I believe you might as well move on from Paldea Evolved. Go look at a set. See, you don't have to get Twilight Masquerade. But what I'm saying from Twilight Masquerade is that I'm noticing on TCG Player. See, and the set value on this set isn't really the best. 1,000. It's not a lot. If you don't really want to go in on Twilight Masquerade on booster boxes, get a Pokemon Center ATV. I think that would be best. A lot cheaper as well. So the booster boxes, I've noticed that they have gone up in value, and obviously just because they go up in value doesn't mean anything. The only ones available to sell on TCG Player, sealed, is $293. So we could see this booster box being $300 very soon. Very soon this box could be $300. And that's what I'm talking about, because this box, I don't think it's gonna get reprinted. It's a very underrated uh box. Honestly, this could be Chilling Reign 2.0 if you could really think about it. Um, I just think it's a better investment than Paldea Evolved, because Paldea Evolved already ran up. But really, in my opinion, the best sets to buy right now are the older sets. Like Brilliant Stars, Lost Origin, Astral Radiance, Silver Tempest. Evolving Skies, if you have the money, go get Evolving Skies. But, you know, Evolving Skies is kind of already like $2,000. Unless you really have the money, then don't put all your capital in one thing. The reason why I like Twilight Masquerade as a set is because it has the Greninja, yes. But the Greninja was the first SIR that was a chase, and Chilling Reign was really printed, heavily printed. It was printed to the ground. The difference is that Chilling Reign had a run where it ran out to 140, and then it got printed again, went down again to 80, 88, then it went back to 140, and that's where it stayed there until the out of print cycle, till it went out of print, and then it started going to 200, 300. The difference is I think Twilight Masquerade is not going to be printed like Chilling Reign. Twilight Masquerade was very unpopular in the beginning. It was kind of like all the other sets. No one really paid attention to them. They were $100. I'm not gonna tell you to go buy it, cause honestly, like I said, well, I think it wouldn't be a bad buy if you could get it under 250. Hopefully, it doesn't get to 300 anytime soon. But I believe that this box would do better in the long run. You got a couple cards in this set that just scream underrated to me, underpriced. You have the Greninja, obviously. If the Greninja, can go up after when it goes out of print, this box is gonna soar. It's one of the most wanted cards, I would say. I say the Greninja is one of the better cards in Scarlet and Violet era. You also have the Eevee. I don't think it's the best card, to be honest. I don't really like Eevees that much. You have Buddy Poffin, gold card. That's a very good card in Teach Not Just Playing. The Sinistcha EX, it's another one of those Pokemon that isn't popular, but is very popular to the new generation. It's a very good Pokemon. You have the Ogre Ponds. Ogre Ponds are kind of like forgotten. Eevees. Blood Moon Ursaluna. I love the Blood Moon Ursaluna. I think that card is super underrated. That card was selling for like $37, high 30s, and that's a very hard card to pull. You have the Teddy Ursus in the back, the Munchlax. I think that's a very beautiful card. The Kieran. This booster box has a lot of trainer cards that are very nice. You have the Perrin. The Perrin's a very expensive card. The Growlithe isn't that expensive, but let's be real. If you buy the Perrin, you're gonna buy the Growlithe. Or if you buy the Growlithe, you might want to buy the Perrin. Maybe you won't buy the maybe you won't buy the Perrin because you're not into the trainers. But the Growlithe, it's a very cute card, very adorable. They have a story, and if you play the games, it's a very cool dynamic that they have. Carmen, so expensive card too, but then you have the Greninja. If you play the DLC, this box would be a little bit more. Maybe this box is more like Chilling Reign than Paldea Evolved. But that's the thing. Chilling Rain, I believe, might not be a super expensive set in anytime soon. Maybe when the newer generation starts, you know, getting into the investment, then maybe that box is gonna be super expensive because this is the first installment. But who knows if Pokemon will be that popular? I don't know, man. Like, that's something I can't even think. That's like 10 years from now. Who knows if those people that grew up on Sword and Shield, how they evolved, would be involved in Pokemon investing in 10 years. That's kind of crazy to think about. But hey, I mean, I'm from Gen 4, and I'm invested in Pokemon. I like Pokemon. But that was a long time ago. But like I said, who knows? We can't predict the future. I don't have a crystal ball. But that Greninja, man, it's a pretty dope card. Very good competitively. I would say so. But for me, I think the best sets to really get involved with might be Surging Sparks. And the crazy thing is, this is a very hot take. I am a firm believer of everything before Prismatic Evolutions and Journey Together are going to be very popular sets. I think Battle Styles could be a very good pickup. Battle Styles is a very good pickup. I think that's a box that people, like I said, when the future of, 5, 3, 6 years from now, when people who grew up on Sword and Shield get into investing, they're probably going to want those boxes. Urshifu has a lot of alt arts on that. It's a very Urshifu focused set. So I think maybe in the future it will have some pip to it. So from what I'm seeing is Surging Sparks is currently very cheap right now. A lot of people have been buying it. It went from $240 to $221. So what it seems like is people are starting to undercut each other. Now this is dangerous territory because you don't really know if people are gonna start lowering the prices to $199. Maybe we were lied to. Maybe they printed a whole lot of Surging Sparks. Yeah, TCG play. I'm seeing a lot of under 200. A lot of them being sold for 200 and under. So with taxes and everything, you would be paying about like $230 maybe, $230 with taxes. Like, you can't really predict the market. You can't. But 215, 230, yeah, you paid 230 for it. It is a pretty attractive price for it. I mean, Surging Sparks, I think, is one of the most underrated sets, just based off design alone. Because Evolving Skies kind of popped off to you, right? Surging Spark kind of has that design too. Fusion Strike has that too. All the other sets, aside from Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike, they don't really pop off. Chilling Rain, you could say it has a different design. It's just, to me, Evolving Skies has that green texture to it. Surging Sparks just has a very colorful design. People say there's going to be Vivid Voltage 2.0. I don't believe this is Vivid Voltage 2.0. These SIRs, they're very hard to get. And the crazy thing is if you really think that people are not going to buy Surging Sparks for $200, I mean, who knows? I didn't even know Surging Sparks had those for $215 for sale. Wow. But that's not a bad deal, I think. Surging Sparks is about to hit 1 year. We're probably going to see more reprints of these sets. But I just don't know if Pokemon is going to... I mean, the market is kind of fluctuating right now. Honestly, I don't even know if the investing, if you should be buying right now, to be honest with you, thinking about it. Because, in my opinion, the best set to invest right now, right? Everybody says 151. 151 is the best set. I think there is some truth to that. But do you believe when the set is out of print, it's just gonna go to like $20 a pack immediate? No, I don't think it's gonna go $20 immediate. I think it's gonna take like a year for that to happen. I think, the packs would be like $13, $14, $15 as soon as it goes out of print. It won't go crazy spiking. These sets are going crazy because everybody wants these and people are willing to buy them just for the chance. But the thing is that social media kind of ruined the perception of how hard these sets are really hard to get. These hits are really to get. Because 151, yes, it has the easiest pull rates. Well, not the easiest. Well, yeah, you could say easiest. You'll probably be hitting more often on 151 than, let's say, a Twilight Masquerade booster box. Or just Twilight Masquerade packs. And there's truth to that. But you also gotta figure out, should I be spending this amount of money on a product or should I just buy the single? Because an ETB of a Paldean Fates, ETB with 9 packs, is the same price as a Charizard EX from Paldean Fates. So why would I spend $170 on the ETB when I could get the Paldean Fates Charizard for $160? So that's this is my theory. I think right now, yes, I was here telling you to buy Twilight Masquerade Surging Sparks yesterday or the other day. I don't remember when it was. But my theory now is maybe buy singles. Because let's say the sealed market does not go up. I mean, does not go down. Let's say prices stay the same. Or let's say, for the first time in a long time, sealed goes down because they're printing so much. That's just, I just don't know about that. Because if you already have these cards, right, then you don't really need to rip the packs. So you don't really want to rip any packs. So, just buy the sealed, or buy the single, and then buy sealed. Whatever price you feel comfortable. That is my investing advice. Buy the singles, and then invest in the sealed. Because